Welcome to Mark Reviews Movies, and today I want to quickly review something that's streaming now on Netflix. It just came out this week, in fact. These are two one-hour-long comedy specials by Dave Chappelle. And a quick disclaimer up front, this is not comedy that's intended for all audiences. In fact, I wouldn't even say it's intended for most audiences. This has a very specific appeal to the group of people that knew Dave Chappelle 10 years ago when he had the Chappelle Show airing on TV. That show aired a couple of seasons, and then all of it kind of became too much for him, and he kind of just disappeared from public life. He was occasionally seen on beaches in South Africa, or, you know, there were reports that he was seen in Hollywood and things like that, but he really kept to himself for a long time. Netflix approached him about doing a couple of comedy specials, and that basically brought him out of retirement. And I've seen a few interviews with him about why he decided to accept Netflix's offer. He had already filmed a couple of these and just kind of had them in the can for a future day. And the reason, he said, money, right? Netflix offered him tens of millions of dollars to give them the two specials that are on Netflix right now and a third one that's in production. You know, disclaimers abound on this one. The content, the majority of what he says is kind of, you know, wide appeal. He's talking about current political events. This first episode is called The Age of Spin, and it's about our political and media atmosphere. Really more appropriate and applicable now probably than even when it was filmed. The second episode is called Deep in the Heart of Texas. You know, and both episodes are very different from each other. They're the same, kind of, same comedian, same style of humor, but very different. This first one has a structure to it. It's structured around the 4 times that he met O.J. Simpson, both before and after the famous murder trial. And the second episode is more just kind of personal stories and rants about different topics. Dave Chappelle is a controversial comedian. He doesn't shy away from controversy. He talks about, you know, racial issues, obviously. A lot of it is racial humor. He talks about, you know, gay rights and gender equality and things like that. So this is not a Jim Gaffigan talking about food. And, you know, if you're expecting something a little more lighthearted, this is not it. I mean, he tackles hard-hitting topics and goes places where other comedians won't. That's what makes him brilliant as a comedian, and that's what leads me to say I can't recommend this. The only audience that will find this, you know, fulfilling, I guess, or nostalgic will be people who watched his stuff 10 years ago, and, you know, they've been craving Dave Chappelle, and you know what? He's back. The jokes work. You get a lot of the things that you got before. But I decided pretty early on in these that I like his sketch comedy, you know, his skits and things that he does more than his stand-up content. He is appealing to kind of the lowest common denominator on some of these jokes. So, disclaimers abound. I think that's the third time I've said it now. I can't recommend this to my audience. You know, I keep this channel family-friendly. This is not family-friendly. But, you know, there are those of you out there who will like this, and for what it's worth, it's well done. That's it. That'll do it for this Mark Reviews Movies. This time, streaming specials of Dave Chappelle's stand-up comedy. Both his live show at the Palladium in Los Angeles called The Age of Spin, and then the second episode, which is Deep in the Heart of Texas, filmed in Austin. So check it out if you're interested. If you don't know who Dave Chappelle is, or, you know, you are curious or something, I would recommend his earlier stuff from the early 2000s, long before you check this stuff out. That'll do it. Subscribe to this channel. Leave your comments in the section below. Let me know, does Dave Chappelle do it for you, or is he too far out there? You know, this is a very specific audience. I'd like to know. And thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in.